High School Dimension 36 presents high school football action. Tonight, the Wildcats of Weymouth High take on the Lakers of Silver Lake. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Ducharme. I'll call you play-by-play. The Wildcats are looking to reverse their fortunes from a week ago when they fell to the Hawks of Waltham in a very frustrating game that you saw on Dimension 36 as the Hawks defeated the Wildcats 3-0 in a game that could have gone either way. Some crazy happenings in that one. They take on a Laker football team who a week ago fell to Duxbury, a very, very tough, hard-hitting affair over at Duxbury High School's Chandler Field. A game that could have gone either way for the most part. For the first 2.5 quarters, it was a dogfight. It wasn't until about late third quarter when Duxbury was able to put away Silver Lake. The Lakers are a very young football team, a lot of new faces in their starting lineup as far as this 1992 season goes. Prior to the game, I talked to Wildcat head coach Joe Kelly, and I asked the Wildcat coach, is he concerned about the fact that coming off the Waltham loss? Is he concerned the fact that his ball club might be a little flat coming into Silver Lake tonight?
No, we'll be ready for Silver Lake. We lost, but and it was a little frustrating, but we played as well as I thought we were going to play, and I have no complaints with the effort, and I think we'll be more than ready for Silver Lake.
Looking at the Lakers, a young team, a very aggressive team, they gave Duxbury all they could handle and a great deal more. Do you think? And James Blaine, the kickoff for the Lakers. Wildcats a gun to Manny Fernandez. He has one of the deep backs, and considering the fact that Michael Taylor a little bit banged up, he's flanked on his left by Steve Kersey, and on his right, Kevin Burns. James Blaine to kick off for the Lakers. Pull up a chair, the Wildcats and the Lakers, and on the squib kick, it is Kevin Burns. Burns trying to turn it towards the middle, and Kevin is going to be brought down at about the 29-yard line.
Brings it up to the 27-yard line where he is met.
Corey Ferrullo brings him down as the Wildcats offensively will be a little bit changed from a week ago as Mark Stanton had a tough game against Waltham. And his backs will be Steve Kersey, Joe Donovan, and Adam Good. Jimmy Taylor will be the slot back this weekend. Manny Fernandez will be in there as well as the Wildcats go to the unbalanced wishbone attack. As you see the offensive line for the Wildcats, and they go to the ground right away. It's on Fernandez on the pitch. Gets to the outside. Manny gets a first down at about the 41. As Stanton with some excellent ball handling. Got it out to Manny Fernandez as Richard Converse made the tackle. But Fernandez get 12 yards and a first down in those Silver Lake defense. The two linebackers, Michael Ventra and Eric Horstman, excellent performances against Duxbury a week ago, and a very good defensive backfield spearheaded by Corey Ferrullo, who, according to Coach John Cucinato, a Division I prospect as a safety. And on the ground, the Wildcats stay in it is Joe Donovan, who had a tough game a week ago. It's Donovan 7 carries and 7 yards, but he gets 3 this time. As Horstman brings him down along with Ventra. Two Laker linebackers did see time a year ago as they were started at particular games during the season, but they also suffered injuries during their sophomore years. There's two excellent junior linebackers. You're going to be hearing the names of Eric Horstman and Mike Ventra throughout this game. Mike Ventra. As Stanton, first pass of the game, a little pressure from Converse. He'll go deep, and it's intercepted. Corey Ferrullo, Stanton on the throw it, as he led to get it to Manny Fernandez, and Corey Ferrullo had the time as he got back into the play, and Silver Lake will take over as Mark Stanton had Fernandez a step behind Ferrullo, but underthrew it. As the Lakers will have the football for the first time on offense, quarterback Richard Sanda threw a touchdown pass of 63 yards to Ferrullo, and he will be his main threat as the Laker offensive line also inexperienced. We'll show the Wildcats in a moment. Wildcats nearly jump. First play of the game is a running play that the running back, Fassetti, getting away from Lynn Campbell, but not getting away from Eric Bell. Bell finally bringing him down as Fassetti with a good run out to the 30-yard line and a gain of 7 on first down. And the Wildcat defense, a little bit of a change in that Wildcat defense in that Joe Collette unable to play on the defensive side of the ball because of a shoulder injury. Rich Bykowski in there, and the defensive backs, who after a slow start had a very strong game. Campbell nearly going off sides on 2nd and 4, and Sanda gives it on the ground and getting good yardage. James Blaine, as he crosses the 35 to the 37-yard line. Rich Bykowski on the tackle. So the Lakers, 2 running plays, and they move it out to their 38-yard line. So the Lakers will shuffle in a lot of running backs. You have people such as Peter Fassetti, 31, Mike Ferroli, 34, Eric Horseman, 43, as the power I formation. To the ground once again, it's Fassetti slicing off some excellent yards across the 45 to the 46. James Taylor on the start. A 6-yard gain for Fassetti. And the Wildcat defense right away really just having it taken to them. Silver Lake making no bones about it. They're just coming at Weymouth High and just trying to run the football right at the Wildcats. On 2nd and 4 from the power I formation once again. It's Sanda giving it to Blaine. Blaine grabbed by Lynn Campbell from behind, but Blaine will have the first down to about midfield as Lynn Campbell, Wildcat defensive end, was able to get to James Blaine, but not before Blaine got the first down. Silver Lake, nothing fancy. The Lakers feel that they have come out with the thought, come right at Weymouth and make things happen that way. And the Wildcats have seen the Lakers move it from their 18 to the 50-yard line with some strong running. And once again to the ground, the Lakers go. Not the great success in first down this time, as Ferroli slices off 4 yards. Lynn Campbell on the stop, as Campbell, the left defensive end, was right there. And the Wildcats, as you look at them in their new road uniforms, pretty dazzling road uniforms. And right now, they would like to change things around, how things are going for them defensively. Silver Lake running the football well. Donovan shows blitz, and he almost got Richard Sanda, who just got the handoff away. And a first down run for the Lakers by Horseman, as Eric Bell brought him down.
Eric Horseman, Silver Lake, gives Silver Lake another first.
Joe Donovan came barreling through on the blitz,
By the Silver Lake backfield.
as Sanda just took the handoff away, and Horseman just slicing off 8 yards and a first down. Nothing fancy by the Lakers. They're just coming at the Wildcats. The Wildcats are trying to change things around. Horseman again, and the Wildcat defense, Campbell, along with Brian Scott, stuff up the play. Along also add George Papachristos and Jim Taylor, as they read that play perfectly. 2nd and 10, as 4 white-shirted Wildcats were there to meet Eric Horseman. Now you have Fassetti, Horseman, Ferroli, Blaine. The Lakers are going to use a lot of running backs, and they feel that their running back quickness will be an advantage for them this year, that the depth is there. It's on the counter play. 4-yard run by Blaine. Donovan and Campbell are there to make the stop, as Donovan and Campbell cut across to bring down Blaine. 3rd and 6. And the Wildcats linebackers so far have not been as active in the first few plays. It has been mostly the cornerbacks have had to make the tackles. Taylor and Bell and company, and the Lakers confused on what they want to do on third down. Call a timeout as quarterback Richard Sander comes over along with the rest of the offensive team. 4:19 to go, opening period, and the Lakers and the Wildcats, no score. Wildcat cheerleaders looking on and preparing. They hope that they can see their team get things in gear. Richard Sander and the Lakers, 3rd and 6, and they go to the wishbone formation. And Sander's first pass. A little flare out and an excellent defensive play by linebacker Adam Good. Adam Good just came across and knocked it away from Eric Horseman, and it'll be 4th down. Adam Good, who led the Wildcats in tackles a week ago, showing some excellent pass coverage on that play, and it will be 4th down for the Lakers. So the first interesting decision of the night, will the Lakers go for it on 4th and 6 to try to keep the drive alive? And they are going to go for it on 4th and 6. And Sando looking for the quick pop pass, and he throws it too high for Paul Berry, and the Wildcat defense makes the stop as Eric Bell and Adam Good on the coverage are there to stop Paul Berry from going after the football, and the Wildcats take over on downs. So the Lakers hang on to the football for about 4 minutes and come up empty. Excellent field position for Weymouth High. 1st and 10 from the 36 as Kerosene moves into the slot. Adam Good kicks the football on the handoff as Adam never put it away, and Adam loses control out of bounds for what will be a 6-yard loss as number 40, who just made some solid defensive plays, never put the ball away, and the Wildcats will face 2nd and 16. Just a matter of concentration by Adam. And Mark Stanton and company will be facing 2nd and 16 as they try to get something going offensively. A week ago, they struggled as Stanton, who was intercepted on his first pass, floats one out. Fernandez, nice little toe dance at the 1st down marker. It's Larry Ferrullo on the coverage. And Manny Fernandez grabbed it at the 1st down marker. Excellently run play by Stanton and Fernandez. And they'll say that Stanton and Fernandez will be about a foot short. Home official Michael Goldman will take the play back on a clipping call as the very nice play run by the Wildcats will go for naught, and a clipping call on Weymouth High. So Weymouth High shoots themselves in the foot. A very nicely run play. Stanton to Fernandez, and the Wildcats see it go by the boards. It would have been a foot short of a 1st down. Instead, it will be 2nd down. And Weymouth will have to move from their own 15 to the 46. The Wildcats a couple of mistakes in this possession. A fumble on a handoff to Adam Good, and then the clipping penalty. And Stanton rolling right. Stanton will keep. Stanton showing his speed as he hits to the outside, and Mark crosses the 35 and out to the 39-yard line as Stanton with an excellent maneuver as he turned the corner. The Lakers' pursuit was excellent from the backside by Danny McLeod, but McLeod never caught up to Stanton as Mark rolled it out to the 37. It'll be 3rd and 9 as Stanton getting a good chunk of the yardage that the Wildcats lost with the 1st down play and the clipping penalty.
To restore the grand piano in the Little Theater. Tickets are $1 each, and drawing will be held at the November 14th game.
3rd and 8. Stanton on the option pitch. Fernandez hits the corner, and Fernandez Fernandez gets one more block. He could be gone. Manny Fernandez with an excellent run to Silver Lake territory, and he'll be bumped out at the 41 as Horseman was finally able to grab Manny Fernandez. As Stanton, who can run the Wildcat wishbone
42-yard line of Silver Lake.
with precision, runs it very nicely there with the excellent fake at the beginning and then the pitch out to Manny Fernandez, and Fernandez hitting the corner nicely. And the Wildcats, who had faced the 2nd and 31, get out of that situation and have a 1st and 10 from the Laker 42. Steve Kerosy. Donovan tries to throw the block to Spring Kerosy, who keeps his balance, and Kerosy bumped out at the 36 with a marker down in the Silver Lake defensive backfield. As Steve Kerosy showed some nice running ability to get to the outside, and the flag on Weymouth, and I believe it is holding on the Wildcats, which the signal is, and it was just in front of where I think Kerosy was turning the corner. As Corey Ferrullo gets the options discussed with him, and Corey definitely will take the penalty because the Lakers do not want to have a 2nd and 5 situation staring them in the face. But look at that run. Steve Kerosy with a very nice run in turning the corner. So the Wildcats, 1st and 20. 2:52 to go in this first quarter. It was scoreless. We've had one turnover so far that the Wildcats. Mark Stanton was picked off by Corey Ferrullo, who closed on a pass to Manny Fernandez very nicely. Stanton trying to get away from the pressure. Mark drops it off. Nice pass completion. Is Rich Bykowski. Grabs it inside the 30 and has dropped it to the 28, or checked it at his 85. Scott Gerard. Scotty Gerard. And the name sounds familiar. Younger brother Billy. The tight end a year ago, but it will all go for naught, and the Wildcats kill themselves once again. Another flag. Holding. Weymouth high.
A holding call.
And now Weymouth will spend the timeout as Coach Joe Kelly is going to talk to his players because they are hurting themselves. They're getting big chunks of yardage, but they are killing themselves with penalties. As the Laker band did a very nice rendition of the national anthem as they look on in a scoreless game with 2:43 to go here in the first quarter. And no score. Wildcats are making it difficult for themselves, and now timeout Silver Lake. As the Lakers, when the Wildcats came out of the huddle, decided that they wanted to talk about things. No score in the game, 2:43 to go, opening quarter. So far, the Wildcats have been able to move the football. One huge problem has been the penalties. Every time you turn around, there's a flag on Weymouth, and referee Michael Goldman has been busy marching yardage off against the Wildcats. It's Stanton with a zip pass to Fernandez on the post pattern. Manny Fernandez with the reception. Links it to the Laker 44. And what a pass by Stanton. That thing, you could have just hung clothes on it. And it'll be 2nd and 8 as Stanton and Fernandez get 21 of the 29 yards needed. But woo! I've seen Mark Stanton throw some passes, but that is one of the better ones that I have seen him throw. Draw play. Steve Kerosy breaks it through. Kerosy, just like a bowling ball, inside the 30 and down to the 26. No flags down, and a first down for the Wildcats. That's Steve Kerosy, who you saw during the Legion season on Dimension Cable, who took over the center field position for the Wildcats. And Kerosy has had 2 very nice runs. One, a 5-yard run called back because of a penalty, but this run up the middle was a dazzling run that he just refused to go down, and a first down for the Wildcats at the Laker 25. So Weymouth overcomes 2 big penalties to get the first down and keep the drive alive. Kerosy once again. Kerosy inside the 25 and down to the 23-yard line as Danny McLeod makes the tackle.
Steve Kersey picks up the yard to make it 2nd down and 9 to go.
As Kersey taking over as a halfback position. Wildcats looking for somebody that can give support to Joe Donovan in the backfield and Adam Good. And that is the key for the Wildcats, is finding the running back. Stanton and the Wildcats with some 2nd and long situations. They're facing a 2nd and 7 right now. And Kersey on the draw, and it's good yardage for Kersey. Kersey inside the 10 and trucked down at the 9. Corey Ferrulo brought him down with an ankle tackle, but Steve Kersey has had some excellent runs here in this first quarter as Kersey rips off 16 yards and a first down for the Wildcats. Get it right yet. It is the Wildcats. Weymouth High as they look to get on the board first. 26 seconds and counting in the first period, and the Wildcats look to get the first points of the game. To the ground they go, and then it's Donovan, brought down by Vetra inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. Horseman also there, and what will probably be the final play of the opening quarter. And the final play of the first quarter, in the Wildcats, when we come back for second quarter action, we'll have a 2nd and goal at the 4 when we return as they look for their first touchdown of 1992.
Hello, I'm Lynn Russell, CNN Headline News. For the latest up-to-date news in 30 minutes, tune to CNN Headline News. For the best coverage of what's going on in your community, nobody beats your local cable company. This week and all year long, your local cable company is bringing the finest local sports, arts, community affairs, and special programming right into your living room. So tune in to local cable programming. Local cable programming contributes to life.
Ball club started a little slowly, and he told his ball club to come right at Silver Lake and take away the penalties in the first quarter. Wildcat offense has been proficient. Cashing in is going to be the key right now. And Procedure and Weymouth High just shooting themselves in the foot once again. And if you ever want to sit down and look at this situation realistically, it doesn't matter who you play. There are only so many times that you can overcome penalties. And Weymouth High right now, instead of having 2nd and goal from the 4, is back out at the 9. Second and goal from the 9. And another procedure penalty is left tackle Jason Herlihy was offsides by a good 2 steps, and referee Michael Goldman and his crew. They've had a busy first half.
45 yards of penalties in the first half for the Wildcats.
The public address telling you how many yards and penalties the Wildcats have gotten this first half. And the funny thing is, I can imagine what Joe Kelly, Bart Weber, Ross Tatora, Kevin Cobb, and Tony Manzelli, and young Joe Kelly are thinking right now. And it's not pleasant. 2nd and goal. Stanton cuts inside of Barry. Fakes, takes off. Mark dives inside the 10 to about the 8. We have one little corner where we are cut off. And Stanton gets it there. And Mark comes up limping. And Mark coming up limping. And that's not a good sign for the Wildcats, as he is coming off the field limping. And I think he took a helmet to the top part of the leg. And Stanton was brought down by Mike Vitra. It was just a situation where Mark possibly got a helmet to the calf area. Option pitch, Fernandez trying to turn the corner. Manny has a whole group of red shirts waiting for him, but Manny does turn the corner and gets it inside the 5 to the 2. Good pursuit by the Lakers, but they were unable to close in on Manny Fernandez, who turned the corner.
Goal from the 2-yard line.
And the Wildcats faced with a 4th and goal situation from the 2. A week ago, Weymouth, as far as moving the football, the farthest they got was the Waltham 26-yard line. And Silver Lake coach John Cucinato, off-cam review, screaming for a timeout, and he will get it. Cucinato and the Lakers trying to figure out what to do on this 4th and goal situation for the Wildcats. 4th and goal from the 2. And the Wildcats want to cash in. It's the wishbone formation. Kerosene, Good, and Donovan behind Stanton. And the football comes loose on the handoff to Joe Donovan. And the Lakers come up with a football as Joe Donovan never hands on to the football. And Corey Ferrullo ends up with a football, and Silver Lake turns Weymouth away. Donovan had the hole, but a situation where Joe does not hang on to the football, and Silver Lake ends up getting the football not only with possession, but at the 20-yard line and not on their own 1-foot line. So Weymouth just doing themselves in here in this first half, which is 8 minutes, 53 seconds to go.
Start at the 20-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10.
And you look back at all the penalties that Weymouth had in that drive, and it hurt. And his Horseman with a gaping hole, and Eric crosses the 30 to the 33.
Battles his way up 11 yards.
Jay Wilson from his safety position makes the stop, and a first down for the Lakers at the 32-yard line.
1st and 10 from the Silver Lake 33.
Wildcats are just simply crooking themselves at the moment. And the Lakers just stood toe-to-toe with them and taking everything Weymouth has given as Blaine. Forget that play. George Papachristos right there along with nose tackle Doug Vinitsky. And they are there to bring down Blaine at the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 10. Silver Lake gets off the line.
Situation at the present time, both teams were able to move the football. Silver Lake stopped because of the Weymouth defense at the end. Silver Lake defense did stop Weymouth, but the penalties also destroying the Wildcat drive, as on the option pass. Throwing it deep downfield, intercepted, Jay Wilson. Flag down on the play as Kevin McGuigan threw the pass downfield. Jay Wilson with the interception, but hold on. It's Jay Wilson with the interception. An eligible receiver downfield. Silver Lake decline. And Jay Wilson's 2nd interception of the year as Kevin McGuigan just floated it out there for Corey Ferrullo. The Wildcats read it well. There were 3 white shirts around Corey Ferrullo. So the Weymouth offense gets the football at the 36-yard line. They're able to move the football from the 36 to the Silver Lake 2 last time, but stopped themselves. Kerosene slicing off, good yardage. Kerosene rolls to the Silver Lake 49. The Ferrullos bring him down as Steve Kerosene slices off a 15-yard gain. He has had a great first half. Corey and Larry Ferrullo had to bring down Kerosene because if Kerosene got one more step, he would have gone 64 yards.
49-yard line.
Coach Joe Kelly wanted to get a running attack going. The Wildcats have done that so far with Keresy. The problem is they have not put the ball in the end zone as Keresy once again, not the success he had on the last play, but he does get 3. Is Horseman on the stop, and it'll be 2nd down and 7.
Second down and 8 from the 46-yard line of Silver Lake.
Weymouth High had the first huge threat of the game. They had 4th and goal from the 2 on a drive that they started from the own 36, but they stopped themselves for the most part. A mix-up on the handoff to Joe Donovan, and the Wildcats did not score as Corey Ferrulo recovered the fumble. Stanton rolling. Under pressure, runs into his own man, and he'll be brought down for a loss back at the 48-yard line. Robert Perry. As Perry will get the sack in a more or less a situation where Mark Stanton ran into his own blocker, and Perry, who was pursuing the play and stuck with it, made the play. 3rd and 13.
From Weymouth's own 48-yard line.
Weymouth is making life very, very tough for themselves. For each good play that they have run, they have pushed themselves back with either a penalty or a very screwy play where they have lost yardage. Stanton quickly over the middle. Adam good yardage. Adam inside the 35 and down to the 33 as Adam came from the slot position to the left of Mark Stanton, and the quick pop over the middle, and Adam Good gets the first down to the 33-yard line. And you have to look at the fact that the Wildcats have cashed in on the 2nd down and long and 3rd and long situations so far. There's only one time that they realistically have not, and that was when they was inside the Laker 10 and could not cash in. So they have another opportunity moving the football again. Keresy to the 26-yard line.
Steve Keresy.
And right now,
7 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Weymouth High coach Joe Kelly has got a hot hand going as far as moving the football on the ground with number 30, junior running back Steve Keresy. Keresy is just doing the job. He is just slicing through the holes and just hitting them quickly in procedure. And once again, the Wildcats doing themselves in as the left side of the Weymouth line. I can imagine what the halftime talk for Weymouth High Coach Joe Kelly is going to deal with. It's going to be, folks, you should be up about a couple of touchdowns the way you're moving the football.
Weymouth will have work from the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go.
You can't keep making these type of mistakes because they can come back to haunt you, and you don't want it to do that. Drop play, Keresy. It's gained good yardage. It gains another good chunk of yardage. It's Mike Vetrup brings down Keresy along with Andrew Ruprecht. Keresy getting the yardage lost in the penalty plus 4 more. It'll be 3rd and 3 from the 24-yard line. As the Wildcats are realistically in the situation that they've been accustomed to so far because of the penalties. Keresy gets a hole. Keresy explodes inside the 15 to the 14. Corey Ferrulo grabbed him by the shoe tops and brought him down, and Ferrulo's had to do that a couple of times here in the first half. And Steve Keresy has been outstanding here in this first half. As the Wildcats once again find a small, about 5'7", 5'8", 150-plus pound running back doing some damage. Joe Donovan explodes. Joe Donovan, touchdown! touchdown, and unfortunately, we get blocked out of the right corner as Joe Donovan from 15 yards out puts the Wildcats on top of their first touchdown of the year. Michael Taylor will try for the point after. And Taylor, who's been battling a pulled quad muscle, just drills it through. 3:10 to go, first half of play, and the Wildcats getting their first touchdown of 92 on the Joe Donovan's 15-yard run. Michael Taylor to kick off for the Wildcats, who go 65 yards, 8 plays, with Joe Donovan finishing it off for the touchdown on a very explosive 15-yard run, and Taylor squibs it. And it takes the bounce, picked up Larry Ferrullo, who dodges one Weymouth tackler, and that being Ryan Casey. And he is shot down as a flag down on the play. What else is new in the first half as far as Weymouth is concerned is on the Wildcats for a legal procedure, probably or offsides. So the Wildcats, once again, horning themselves with a penalty. 7-0 Weymouth. Joe Donovan with the touchdown run. Corey Ferrullo. He's going to be flanked by Peter Facchetti and Larry Ferrullo. Those will be the return people for the Lakers. Michael Taylor, once again the kickoff for the Wildcats. And Taylor hits it high. And it spins to Ferrullo, who hits the 30, trying to find the seam. Brian Scott holds him up and gets some help from Ryan Casey, and the two bring him down at the 34, and that's where the Lakers will start this possession. And for Coach John Cucinato and the Lakers, the approach they'll take to the final 2:59 of this first half will be very interesting, as Silver Lake may go to the air, and you can look for Corey Ferrullo as the prime receiver, though he has gone Richard Sander, the Laker quarterback, to Paul Berry or Eric Horsman so far. Sander, option. Vetra trying to turn the corner, and no way he'll turn the corner with Adam Good staring him in the face, along with safety Jay Wilson. And the Wildcats, Brian Scott gets up and calls timeout. And when we come back, it will be 2:49 to go first half, 7-0 Weymouth. Future Lakers or Wildcats in the back of the end zone. It's on that running play. It was an illegal use of hands penalty on Silver Lake. Weymouth refused it because Mike Vetra was stopped for no gain. 2nd and 10. Blaine goes off the screen of motion as Lynn Campbell picks up the fumble, but the play is blown dead as Eric Horsman could not go anywhere. In fact, loses a yard, and Weymouth will spend another timeout because they feel they can get their hands on the football. They can start to get the offense, which was cooking last possession, some excellent field position. It'll be 3rd down and 11 to go for the Lakers. Silver Lake left coach John Cucinato immediately got out to set up for this 3rd down and 11 situation. Sander flipping it over the middle, intercepted. Jimmy Taylor right there, cut in front of Corey Ferrullo with the interception. As Taylor had the better avenue to the football, and the Wildcats forced the turnover and will take over at the Silver Lake 46, the 5th interception for the Wildcat defense in the first 2 weeks of the season. So with 2:12 left, Weymouth will have the football in excellent field position, the Silver Lake 47. 1st and 10 as the Wildcats force their 2nd turnover. Double reverse. Fernandez cuts it inside nicely, trying to get outside, and Manny dropped the football. Manny just simply dropped the football, and Corey Ferrullo's got it. Hernandez just dropped the football. He did not have it knocked away from him. He dropped it. And Corey Ferrullo has recovered 2 fumbles here in this first half and has picked off a pass. So Weymouth, which forces a turnover, promptly gives the ball back to Silver Lake. And the Lakers have good field position, the 34. Sanda firing it deep. And almost intercepted by Jay Wilson. Jay Wilson hustled over and got to the plate, got to where Sanda's pass was going, and almost came up with the football. Jay Wilson caught up to where the ball was, and Corey Ferrullo, the intended receiver, will be second down for the Lakers and 10. As Sanda overthrew, and Wilson right there. 1:51 to go, first half, and a 7-0 Weymouth lead. On Dimension 36, Mark Bouchard with you from Serico Field in Kingston. And on the toss pitch, it's Blaine trying to get outside and being chopped down as the Wildcat played it very nicely. As cornerback Jim Taylor came up and made the play, and Weymouth will spend the timeout with 1:44 left in a 3rd and 9 situation for Silver Lake. And the crossfield concession stand here at Serico Field blocked on your view a little. Some of the Weymouth fans looking on. Richard Sanda and the Lakers faced with a 3rd and 8. And they stay to the ground, and George Papachristos just grabbed at the ball carriers. Weymouth will spend the timeout as the running back, Peter Fassetti, had nowhere to go. Papachristos grabbing him from behind and then getting some help from his friends on the play, and it will be 4th down and 10 as the play loses 2. Lakers the punt on 4th down, and a week ago it was an adventure for them as James Blaine got all sorts of snaps, left, right, and over his head. And we'll see if Weymouth will put the pressure on. George Papachristos almost jumping and pulling back, and now Laker does move, top of your screen. The Silver Lake player trying to peel back and block, and it cost the Lakers 5 yards.
Illegal motion to call on Silver Lake.
A week ago, James Blaine had to keep on looking around for help. A situation where Blaine got some snaps all over the place. Soon he got a good snap. Blaine didn't get off a bad punt. It was a tough game for the Silver Lake special teams as he gets a short snap and gets off a bad kick that might have been deflected, and it goes out of bounds, and it will be a very short kick.
Blaine's kick goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
So the minute 31 to go in the first half, Mark Stanton and company will have the football at the Laker 37-yard line. And Stanton trying to run the option and run away from Mike Betra will not. Betra would not let Stanton turn the corner, and the Wildcat cornerback will call a timeout as there will be no gain on the play. And the Wildcats use their last timeout. As Stanton goes across field with 1:18 to go in the first half. So with no timeouts left, Weymouth will have to go 38 yards if they want to expand the lead. 2nd down and 10 as the Wildcats. After the short James Blaine punt, it was a snap that was just a little off to Blaine, and Blaine, a week ago, had a little trouble with it, getting good snaps. Wasn't able to get off a good kick as Stanton will run with the football as there was nobody to go to. Good coverage by the Lakers. Stanton wrestled out of bounds inside the 25. Mike Vitra
Mark Stanton brings the ball inside the 25-yard line.
brings him down.
By Mike Vitra.
But Stanton is good coverage by the Lakers secondary, and Stanton had no place to go and took off upfield. And the Wildcats, however, do get a first down as Stanton gets 14 on the run. Stanton and the Wildcats turned the ball over 3 times here in this first half. That's the bad news and the penalties. The good news is the fact that they have moved the football, something that they did not do all that well a week ago. And they have shown some diversification as far as moving the football. It's a good ground game as well as throwing the football. Stanton has time. A heck of a hit laid on Manny Fernandez by Corey Ferrulo. Fernandez with the catch and the first down. And with no timeouts. But oh, did Corey Ferrulo make a big-time stick, and Manny Fernandez made a big-time catch just to hang on. And you talk about a great hit. Ferrulo then got up and patted Fernandez, who just said, nice tackle. Stanton grounds the football as he takes a shot, but Mark just trying to stop the clock, and that's all he cares about, which is 55 seconds to go first half. The Wildcats figure second down situation and goal from the 9 is a lot easier than trying to run a play and maybe being caught in bounds and having to then force yourself into a tough situation. A year ago, Stanton was a 54% passer. And a few times he was able to do that. And you can remember a game down in Taunton where he ran the 2-minute offense in 30 seconds and almost got the Wildcats a touchdown in Taunton. He came up short on it. Here's Kerosy. Kerosy breaking it outside. Kerosy, nice little move for the touchdown. Steve Kerosy gets his first varsity touchdown. And on a very pretty move he made, Kerosy at about the 3, just made the little sidestep away from the Laker would-be tackler, and the Wildcats are on top 13-0 with 48 seconds to go here in the first half. Steve Kerosy scoring, and Michael Taylor with his brother Jim to hold. Taylor 2 for 2 on the evening, and the Wildcats take advantage of a short James Blaine punt and increase the lead to 14-0.
14-0 lead.
A 37-yard drive by the Wildcats, and they lead 14-0. Steve Kerosy finishing it off. As Michael Taylor puts up a high kick. And Corey Ferrulo has to play a shortstop in grabbing the football. Corey, a good athlete, and made a nice catch and grabs it at the 31.
The 31-yard line, so they will start it up just before the half.
And the Lakers will have it with 42 seconds to go first half, and we'll see what the Lakers decide to do. Will they run the football and just call it quits, because they do have the option to begin the second half. It's a funny story I want to relay, and I will do it in the second half. And I told Weymouth High coach Joe Kelly this before the game, as well as statistician Benny Ells, is on the ground. Peter Fassetti with an excellent run as he's kept in bounds. As Fassetti spins his way to the 49, where he's brought down by Roy Ward. But Peter Fassetti gets the Lakers a first down. And the Lakers will spend the timeout with 34 seconds left. And 34 seconds to go, first half. Weymouth with a 14-0 lead. As Silver Lake. Peter Fassetti with a nice run. The thing is, Wildcats buckling back in pass coverage for the most part, thinking that the Lakers will throw it downfield. And they stay to the ground. James Blaine grabbed by Joe Donovan. And a marker down, you're going to add 5 more yards because Donovan might have got the face mask. Joe Donovan, in making the tackle, may have grabbed the face mask. And the Wildcats enabling Silver Lake to have a nice little drive out of this. As Joe Donovan, in making the tackle, a little off balance. Silver Lake gets a first down out of it. Weymouth mistakes. That's all there is to it here in this first half as far as the penalties do go. Time just running off the clock. Flag down again. That seems to be the thing in this first half. Weymouth getting touchdowns. Brian Scott makes the tackle along with Joe Donovan on Peter Fassetti. We might have 2 flags on this play. And Silver Lake, as referee Michael Goldman, who's been a busy individual. Face mask on Weymouth, offside and face mask called against Weymouth. And Silver Lake going downfield thanks to Weymouth. Silver Lake will take the run by Fassetti and add to it the face mask, but there's 18 seconds left in the first half, and the change will set the clock will start.
15 seconds left in the game. 29-yard line, Silver Lake has first and 10.
Toss pitch, turning the corner, and Blaine gets out of bounds. That's the good news for the Lakers with 6 seconds left. Roy Ward ran him out of bounds, but Blaine wanted to get out of bounds on that play because he had to stop the clock. Lakers no timeouts left. With 6 seconds left, and Richard Sanda and company have to figure out a way to go 23 more yards. Weymouth has made mistakes with the penalties here in the first half. We'll have to wait to see if we do have the final play of the half coming up as Sanda has an open receiver. Instead, it is intercepted. The Wildcats get their 3rd interception. Sanda hung it up. Jim Taylor, his 2nd of the first half. And the Wildcats will allow Silver Lake to move down the field because of penalties are able to hold the Lakers off the field. Joe Donovan and Steve Keresy, the touchdown run. Donovan for 15 yards. Keresy on a 9-yard run. And that is the first half scoring as the Wildcats leave Sirico Field after 20 minutes of play, up 14-0. Second half coming up for you here on Dimension 36. So stick with us. Don't go away. And Michael Taylor gets set to kick off to begin the second half. Corey Ferrulo's had an outstanding 1 half of play, 2 fumble recoveries and an interception. Is the middleman and the 3 for Silver Lake. Taylor hits it on the line. Corey Ferrulo neatly comes up, and he is horse-collared. He is horse-collared by Joe Donovan. As Joe Donovan just grabbed Ferrulo at about the shoulder pads and neck area and dropped him. Silver Lake first down at the 32, and halftime statistics. Weymouth decisive advantage, and the only reason it's 14-0 is the fact that the Wildcats have had penalty yardage all over the place. As Fassetti spinning away, and from Roy Ward, and can't spin away from Joe Donovan. Rick Frykowski also there, along with Eric Bell, as they were all there to bring down Fassetti, who took about a 3-yard gain and made it a 6-yard gain. It'll be second down and 4. Silver Lake ran the football well. They could not get the ball in the air as Rich Sanda suffered 3 interceptions, and a little just dump back to Blaine, who turns the corner nicely. And Blaine, a tough cookie, as Blaine did not want to go down, as he's brought down by Jay Wilson and Rich Frykowski and Roy Ward. So the Lakers have come out, run the football very nicely. Something that they did on their first possession when they moved it to the Weymouth 46-yard line, but was stopped there. And then towards the end of the first half, because of a couple of penalties, they moved the football again. First and 10, Silver Lake. And a pitch that Silver Lake just Richard Sander just turned the pitch looking for his running back, and I believe it was Kevin McGuigan. He just threw the ball away, and Jay Wilson ends up with a football that was just bouncing harmlessly around, and the Wildcat safety has got an interception and a fumble recovery in this football game. Fourth turnover for the Lakers. Silver Lake shooting themselves in the foot as the Lakers were moving the football very nicely and just made a terrible mistake. Counterplay, Steve Kerosy breaking loose. Kerosy tripped up at the 48-yard line. He gets 11 yards and the first down. As Kerosy
Brings the ball 10 yards.
just slicing off an excellent run. Peter Fassetti on the tackle. And to give you a situation that I brought up late in the first half, a story that I was going to tell with Steve Kerosy, who's over 100 yards in this game. Kerosy 5'9", 165 is listed on the program, more or less 5'8", and say about 155 pounds. Now, since Joe Kelly is returned coaching at Weymouth High against Silver Lake, as Stanton will take a timeout, we'll tell you about the story in just a moment. 7:58 to go, third quarter. Wildcats with a 14-0 lead. Top middle of your screen, Wildcat. Assistant coach Tony Manzelli, Joe Kelly Jr., and the brain trust upstairs, Kevin Cobbin also up there. And they're relaying the plays down. Cobbin in the middle, Manzelli, and Joe Kelly. The story I was going to relay during the Kelly era, and I will tell you after this play. It's Joe Donovan just ripping off a good run for a first down to about the Laker 40-yard line, as Donovan just kept spinning his way for the first down, as he is brought down by Mike Vitra. But the story I was going to bring up, during the Joe Kelly era, when Weymouth North and at Weymouth High, the first 3 years against Silver Lake, Barry Barassa had a career against Silver Lake, beating him all 3 years, as Barassa had nearly 700 yards against Silver Lake in the 3 years, and had touchdown after touchdown against the Lakers. As it's the second and a foot for the Wildcats, but then after another year after Barassa left, Tim Stevenson and Rich Miraz were more or less the heroes against Silver Lake. Then Steve Gabriel, 2 years ago down here, scored 4 touchdowns against the Lakers. Last year, Keith Strazzeri scored 4 touchdowns against the Lakers. As second down and a foot, Joe Donovan getting the first down and a great deal more, crossing the 35 to about the 34-yard line, as he is brought down on the play by Kevin McGuigan. But the point of, go back to the story, was the fact that Barassa, Strazzeri, and Gabriel, all 5'8", 150 pounds. Kerosy, who tonight has got a touchdown and over 100 yards rushing, is in the same build physically as the other three. So Weymouth has had great success with 5'8", 150-pound people against Silver Lake. And Kerosy grabbed by Barry, but still spins away for about a 3-yard gain, as Steve just took the Silver Lake defensive end with him for a 3-yard run. It'll be 2nd and 7. You know, the funny thing is, before the game on that story with Kerosy, was that I wasn't expecting him to have the type of night he was. I was expecting it was going to be the Manny Fernandez show. If you look at the history continuing, Manny's had a pretty good night. But the fact is, it has been Mr. Kerosy who's come to play as he goes on 2nd down and 7 on the counter, and Horseman, along with Vitra, hold him up after about a 2-yard gain. And it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats.
Steve Kerosy picks up about 2 yards before he
We'll get to go to the air here in the second half.
It'll be 3rd down and 6 to go.
Wildcats just sticking to the ground and trying to improve on that running game and get it sharpened and go out of this game with the victory. and take it into Silver Lake and Barnstable next week as Stanton gets away from Barry. Stanton will keep. Stanton, 30, and Stanton slides down at the 22, a la professional quarterback style, as Mark Stanton gets the Wildcats a first down. As Stanton,
Mark Stanton picks up 8 yards.
saw two Silver Lake defensive players come smoking at him, and he did not want to get wiped out by them. As Stanton got away from Paul Berry initially and just took off upfield, getting the first down, and the Wildcats continue to march as they get it to the Laker 22. Once again, crosses the 22, about the 18.
Once again, this is Steve Kersey of the
As
Wildcats.
Eric Horstman and Mike Vitra.
4 yards, second down and 6 to
These
go.
are two outstanding junior linebackers, and they were there to make the tackle.
18-yard line of Silver Lake.
And a big possession for Laker defense. They want to stop the Wildcats because the Wildcats push it out to a 3-touchdown lead. They can relax and get ready for next week, more or less, and just sharpen up on some things. As Joe Donovan spins away, Joe Donovan heading to the outside, and Donovan just caught by Corey Perullo at the 11-yard line. Joe Donovan limping a little bit, but Joe, a Wildcat leader.
And the Wildcats will have first down and 10 from the...
Just showing his toughness as a fullback. He is a very, very hard runner. He does not go down easily. And first and 10 for the Wildcats as they need 10 yards not only for the first down, but 11 for the touchdown. With 4:35 to go, third quarter, and the Wildcats leading 14-0. Donovan again, straight up the middle, and he does not go down easily. Vitra had him by the ankles, and Corey Perullo was there to finally chop him down. As Joe Donovan is just a horse. He doesn't want to get down easily.
7 down and 5 from the 6-yard line.
Joe Donovan. He and Adam Good have had super careers at Weymouth as far as linebacking play goes, and now the two are counted on for their running ability more and more this year. Donovan, the leading Wildcat ball carrier, returning this year, 345 yards a year ago. Donovan held up, and he's just got about 5 Lakers taking their shots at him as Donovan gets inside the 4-5 to about the 4. Third down, and about 3 for the first down. And the Wildcats need 4 for the touchdown. 3:25 and counting, third quarter. Weymouth 14, Silver Lake nothing, as Weymouth getting touchdown runs. 15 yards from Joe Donovan, 9 yards from Steve Kersey. And they had one other opportunity to score and could not. Kersey up the middle. Kersey, touchdown.
Steve Kersey with his second touchdown of the night.
Steve Kersey took the handoff on the little delay, and he went straight up the middle for the touchdown, in the Wildcats with 2:56 to go, third quarter. Now lead 20-0. Michael Taylor will look to make it 21. Michael Taylor will try to make it a 21-0 game. Taylor dead perfect.
And
Michael Taylor, 3 for 3 in extra points. The Wildcats begin the second half with a strong drive that they cash in with a Kersey touchdown run in lead, 21-0 with 2:56 to go, third quarter. Michael Taylor to kick off as the Wildcats go 64 yards. Second time that they have gone over 60 yards in this game for a touchdown, as Steve Kersey's second touchdown, and Taylor with a squib that is misplayed by Silver Lake. And Kevin McGuigan, who almost overran the football, fouls on it. And the Lakers will have it at their own 26-yard line with 2:54 to go third quarter, as the Wildcats stuck to the ground on that drive. That finished off with the Kersey touchdown run, his second of the ball game, and the Wildcats cashing in on the Jay Wilson fumble recovery. And the Lakers now down 21-0. Put themselves as on the first down play, illegal procedure on Silver Lake, and referee Michael Goldman and his crew have been very, very busy tonight. Illegal procedure on the Lakers. And this Wildcat defense, 2 games so far, they have 8 turnovers. Oh, Weymouth offensively has turned the ball over 5 times. It's been the negative. The Wildcats, granted, you give a +3 on the turnover ratio, but you don't want to have a situation as Sanda just couldn't get it to Corey Ferrullo, who was open. And Ferrullo made a nice effort to get to the football. 2nd and 15. Coach Joe Kelly got to be happy in some aspects. This ball club has moved the football very well in this game. Sanda to throw on 2nd and 15. Going deep. Tipped by Jay Wilson, almost in the hands of Corey Ferrullo, and Ferrullo turned around. He had the end zone staring him in the face. Corey almost got it on the deflection, and Corey, who is an excellent athlete, he's been a star basketball player here at Silver Lake. But that time, Jay Wilson had good coverage in a situation where a week ago where we watched Manny Fernandez, for those watching on Dimension Cable, Fernandez tipping one on the first Waltham pass of the game. Fernandez had the interception. He tipped it to a Waltham Hawk, Francois Joseph, who almost went the distance for the touchdown. Almost the same type of situation there. 3rd and 15 is Blaine in motion. Sanda looking for the quick pass over the middle. Deflected and intercepted. Lynn Campbell. And look at the big 5'11", 260-pound defensive end. He does not want to go down. Lynn Campbell being mobbed by his teammates, and rightfully so. He was the right place or right time in the Wildcat junior defensive end with the interception. Wildcats had an injured player who was able to go off under his own power, as they will have the football at the Laker 22. Stanton wide open. Manny Fernandez inside the 5 as he falls out of bounds at the 2. Fernandez wide open. Ferrullo pushed him out of bounds, and Manny got a little dirt into the helmet. But Mark Stanton just threw a rifle shot that Manny Fernandez grabbed in a first down and goal situation. The Wildcats looking to put this game totally out of reach and get ready for Barnstable. Donovan the call. And Joe stood up at the line of scrimmage. As you look at number 32, top of the pile, Andrew Ruprecht, along with 66, Gordon Pratt. At the bottom of the pile, the 2 stood up Donovan after what was about a foot gain. 2nd and goal. And the ball, when Fernandez caught it, was at the 3, and just turned the football over after that Donovan run. That was basically all Joe got. The Wildcat right side of the offensive line, unable to open up the hole. Keresy turning the corner. Keresy cannot get to the end zone. It's the corner where we are blocked. As Keresy cut down by Horseman and Vitra. Is the two linebackers along with safety Corey Ferrullo. Held up Keresy and stopped him from turning the corner. 3rd and goal. At the 3-yard line, as they say, Keresy may have moved the football about a foot on that play. And that's being generous. 40 seconds and counting, 3rd quarter. Wildcats 21-0, looking for more. Keresy counter. Keresy spinning his way. George Pachuto says touchdown, and he's right. Steve Keresy. His 3rd touchdown of the evening as he spun away at the line of scrimmage and found his way to the end zone. And he just comes trotting out the field, a tired young man. Steve Keresy, 3 touchdowns on the night, an excellent run for the 3rd one. And Michael Taylor looks to make it a 28-0 game. And Taylor, who has had the pull quad muscle, he suffered in the junior varsity game this past Monday. And Taylor with a sports right extra point. As Taylor's become Mr. Automatic, and the Wildcats 28. Lakers 0 with 30 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Michael Taylor 4 for 4 in extra points. And a short drive for the Wildcats set up by the Lynn Campbell interception. As Campbell on the deflection ended up with the football. Taylor spins one that Larry Ferrullo watches roll out of bounds. And Michael Taylor will kick again. Michael Taylor tries to put the kickoff
33-0.
in bounds, and here a score. Wow, Hanover doing it to Hingham. Background as Larry Ferrullo gets it out to about the 27-yard line, and that's where the Silver Lake will start. The second half has been a situation where the Lakers have turned the football over in both of their possessions, and the Wildcats had just taken advantage. First of all, a fumble recovery at the Weymouth 36 that resulted in a 64-yard drive that Steve Keresy scored on a short touchdown run, and then the Lynn Campbell interception, which set up another short Steve Keresy run, and the Lakers will have to start putting the ball in the air a little more in the final 24 seconds of this 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter as they go to the ground. And it will be Mike Vitra getting about 4 yards on the play. It will be the final play of this 3rd quarter. As the Wildcat defense has forced 4 turnovers in this game. Check it, 5 turnovers. And they have helped the offense get in sync and giving them good field position. Result, Weymouth 28, Silver Lake 0. 4th quarter coming up in just 1 moment.
They were young. They were willing to risk their lives for a vision. From their passionate fight came one of the most radical doctrines of all time, the Constitution. A doctrine that places the power in the individual, enabling each of us to dream, to inspire, to achieve. Our system is most vital when each of us participates in it. When we vote, we keep this passion alive. In the last presidential election, only half of us who could vote did. America works when Americans vote.
For the Wildcat cheerleaders playing the cheer about is the game summary. Wildcats forcing 5 turnovers, and the last 2 they cash in for touchdowns, and a big night for Steve Keresy. Rich Sanda, 2nd down and 6. Toss pitch, it's Blaine turning the corner. Brian Scott comes up from his linebacker position, and along with defensive end Richard Bykowski. And defensive tackle Shu Cunningham, they were able to chop down. Jimmy Blaine after a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Lakers. Silver Lake has not had the great night passing. The Weymouth pass defense has been very tough in this one. While the Silver Lake running attack has done very well at times. Deep back, Fassetti in the I formation gets the 1st down as Fassetti crosses the 40 to about the 42-yard line, and he is dropped by linebacker Brian Scott as Wildcats with the reserve linebackers in there, Brian Scott and Dan Steele, the heir apparent to Donovan and Good. Steele, 180-pound sophomore, Scott, 175-pound junior. 2 very strong hitters and very active linebackers. As Blaine runs into George Papachristos after about a 3-yard gain as Papachristos cut Blaine off before Blaine could get going. 8:35 left. Wildcats, as far as football goes, will be in Barnstable next week, as they will take on the Red Raiders in what should be an outstanding football game before returning home to face Taunton. As the give to Fassetti, who looked like he was getting ahead of steam and breaking loose, but Fassetti was grabbed from behind by Brian Scott. And Brian Scott bringing down Fassetti after about a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 to go for a 1st down. And Scott, who a year ago just got better and better in being the 3rd linebacker and defensive coordinator Ross Katora's defense. Toss pitch came out short to Fassetti, who made a nice catch, turns the corner, gets the 1st down as Fassetti gets it to the 44 and a 1st down. Jimmy Picciuto, one of the many Wildcat defensive ends, makes the tackle as Jimmy Picciuto got out there to string the play out and push Fassetti up, but Fassetti had turned the corner nicely. 1st down, Lakers. The Wildcats have changed up a lot of their defensive personnel. As Vitra runs into still one of the starters in there, Jimmy Taylor. Taylor just grabbed him and put down Vitra. As Taylor, who is a defensive fullback in lacrosse, and a guard in basketball, and a very good defensive player in basketball as well. Showed some good tackling there as he just stood up, Vitra. And timeout for just a moment with 7:09 left and a 28-0 Weymouth lead. As the marking of the ball was about a yard short. Delfinitsky having to back up a little. 2nd and 6. Fassetti tried to break loose, and Fassetti couldn't shoot. Cunningham is there to make the tackle, as Cunningham, along with number 40, Adam Good. As Adam back in. Good, who get a little bit of rest. Be 3rd and 2 for the Lakers. And the Wildcat defense, for the most part, returning some of the starters, and then 28-0, Weymouth with the lead, and with 6:35 and counting, a 3rd and 2 situation. 2-down territory for Silver Lake. Sander the throw. Deep over the middle, and the only one there was a man with a white shirt on, and that's Scott Gerard of Weymouth. Sander was looking for Corey Ferrulo to go deep on the post pattern, and Corey wasn't even there. Scott Gerard was there, and Scott, who caught a pass earlier in this one, had the best avenue to the football. 4th and 2. Lakers stay to the ground, and a fumble by Jimmy Blaine. And it will be interesting to see, even if Silver Lake had fallen on it, but they didn't. as Roy Ward falls on the football. Roy Ward and the Wildcats getting their 6th turnover of the night. But the fact of the matter was, even if Blaine or Barry or another Laker fell on it, it would have been Weymouth football. It would have been short of a first down, and Weymouth will take a timeout with 6:16 left and leading 28-0. Mark Stanton and the Wildcats come out with a 1st and 10. At the 33-yard line, Stanton, quick one over the middle. Adam Good. Good, racing away. Adam Good, still not going down, and finally hauled down on the play by James Mulcahy, and not before he gets to the Silver Lake 24-yard line. And the Wildcat senior running back just exploded down the field. He wouldn't go down as he takes it from his own 31 to the Laker 25, and with that the Wildcats switch up to the second-team offense, and junior Ross Shannon will take over the quarterback duties for the rest of the evening. A situation where Coach Joe Kelly more or less trying to get the ball out of his own side of the field, and some confusion on the play, and it ends up with a great run as you look at Kevin Burns, a senior running back, ending up with the football, and Burns gets it inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. Ross Shannon on the handoff had a little bit of trouble, and it ended up with Shannon finally giving off to Kevin Burns on the broken play, and the Wildcats have a 1st and 10 with 5 minutes and 2 seconds to go, and clock ticking away, and the Wildcats on their way for victory number 1. Burns, handoff, Kevin Burns explodes through. Kevin Burns, touchdown! Kevin Burns finishes off the drive after the Wildcats take over the football on downs, and Kevin Burns, the senior running back, gets his first touchdown of the season. Michael Taylor looking to add point number 35. It's Kevin Burns, an 11-yard touchdown run. Burns ran the last 2 plays, 24 yards total, and ran them very nicely. As Michael Taylor, 5 for 5 on the evening, and Michael continues his excellent kicking. And look at the score, folks. As far as the Wildcats are concerned, it is a big night for them, because last week they couldn't even find the scoreboard. Tonight, they have found it 5 times against the Laker Ball Club, which is going to get better and better as the season progresses. Once again, the Wildcats taking over their hands in the football after a Laker turnover. As Roy Ward with a fumble recovery, and the Wildcats cashing in. As the Wildcats with Kevin Burns scoring and getting good coverage on the kickoff, as Eric Shepard got it to the 25-yard line. That's where Silver Lake will go with their second offensive unit. Point out, as far as the Wildcats go, a situation where a week ago where they were very frustrated and not getting the ball in the end zone. It's almost like they let out all their frustrations tonight in this one against Silver Lake, who is an improving ball club. I mean, if anybody saw that game with Duxbury, they gave Duxbury all they can handle, and this is a good Duxbury team. And they'll run the option, what looked like an option pass, as Chris Robinson tried to turn the corner and gets grabbed from behind.
James Mulcahy goes in as the quarterback.
As Jimmy Picciuto grabbed Chris Robinson. Mulcahy, he was a sophomore, and made the tackle on the Adam Good explosion on that Mark Stanton pass over the middle. Ended up as an 8-yard loss, 2nd down and 18 for the Lakers. As we had the 4 minutes to go, and the Wildcats on their way to a 1-1 mark. Silver Lake will drop to 0-2 as Silver Lake stays on the ground, and Jacob Barnes gets about 5 on the play. This is Sean Flavin.
Jacob Barnes brings the ball up about 5 yards.
And
It'll be 3rd
Mark
down and 12 to go.
Eliason on the tackle. And a lot of new white shirts, a lot of new red shirts in there for the final 3:30. Game well in hand. Lakers stay on the ground once again. Flag down on the play. There's Jimmy Yule. Gets about a couple of yards in the play. Brian Scott on the tackle, and Brian might have gotten the face mask. Face mask, Weymouth High. That's the negative in this game as far as Weymouth goes. Were the penalties. If you look back to the first half, a situation where Weymouth High was able to move the football. A first drive they had that stalled out at the Silver Lake 2. It was a situation where the Weymouth High drive stalled because Weymouth had so many penalties on the drive and a bad pitch. Loose football, Mulcahy is able to fall back on it. And then he had Sean Flavin fall on him. It's Mulcahy on the pitch. Threw it behind Jacob Barnes, and it'll be 4th down and 7. And Silver Lake to punt. But the fact is the Wildcats killing themselves with the penalties. They would move the football down the field 15, 20 yards, and then watch the play be called back for holding or clip or whatever. But when they remedied the penalty situation, the Wildcats were able to play much better football and move with no problems as Blaine rides out a nice kick. Ross Shannon is going to have to orchestrate the Wildcat attack. Runs it back to the 44, 5-yard return on the Jim Blaine punt. And with 2:16 left, it'd be very doubtful that Weymouth will put the football in the air and just run out the clock and advance on to the buses and head back up to Weymouth with a 1-1 record. Defensively, Weymouth has played extremely well in this one. They've done some very nice things. As Ross Shannon will guide the Wildcat attack for the rest of the way. Shannon gives to Joe Gaudette. Gaudette with a very nice run. Gaudette inside the 45 and down to the 40-yard line. And Joe Gaudette, who's the 3rd Weymouth quarterback, with a very nice run for the 1st down. And realistically, for those who are watching, who will probably watch the junior varsity game on Monday, and will be the game already been played. These are a lot of the players that are be involved in that game. Gaudette, or check it, it is Ely Pierce, and Ely Pierce, all 120 pounds of him, hits the corner very nicely. As Pierce to the 27-yard line, marker down in the play, and well, Ely Pierce's first varsity run, which was a very nice one,
Brings it right back 10 yards.
is called back illegal use of hands. Ely Pierce, outstanding speed. He and Manny Fernandez during the spring track season a year ago battled in the 100. 1:25 left. 35-0 in favor of the Wildcats as they will even their record at a win and a loss. And get ready for Barnstable. As inside handoff to Dan Steele, and Steele with a good run crossing the 45 to the 44 and a gain of 7 yards on the play as we head to the 1-minute mark left. And the Wildcats will gain some confidence out of this one. Silver Lake will try to regroup and get themselves ready for their next game and get their confidence back. There's maybe 2 plays left. Illegal procedure, Weymouth High. Joe Gaudette took off a little too quickly as Billy Pierce was about to get the handoff. Procedure, Wildcats. We'll have the opportunity to recap the scoring for you. Joe Donovan's 15-yard run got it going in the second quarter, completing an 8-play, 65-yard drive. And the Wildcats led 7-0. They made it 14-0 just before the end of the first half. Steve Keresy on a 9-yard run. As Keresy on the Mike Taylor extra point made it 14-0 at half. Keresy 2 third-quarter touchdown runs, and in the fourth quarter was Kevin Burns with a touchdown run. As the handoff to Joe Gaudette. Gaudette turns the corner and is dropped after what is about a 5-yard gain, and what will be the final play of this one is Joe Furtado. Brings him down. A big night to Steve Keresy, 3 touchdowns and over 100 yards rushing. And the Wildcats, who had trouble offensively a week ago, put it all together in this one despite some penalty problems. The Wildcats, with a business-like effort, 35-0 victory over Silver Lake. The Wildcats evening their record at 1-1. 3 touchdowns for Steve Keresy, Joe Donovan and Kevin Burns, the other touchdown scorers for the Wildcats, and they will